Welcome to Bargain Bin Saturdays, where I review movies I find in the $5 bin at my local Walmart. And this week we will be taking a look at Timeless Media Group's Pocahontas, which was created for their Timeless Tale series and released in 2007. Story-wise, this movie tries to be more accurate to the actual historical events, but also takes a few liberties in order to make the movie more kid-friendly. One of the best examples of changing the narrative to fit a younger audience is this scene.
I must say, you've taught me a thing or two about crop planting. Know anything about corn?
I know much about corn, Mr. Rolfe. All Indians do.
In actuality, John Rolfe is famous for growing tobacco plants, but I can see why a children's educational movie that also feels like a public service announcement at times would try to avoid the potential talk of drugs in association with an important figure in English/American history. On the other hand, this movie also attempts to be funny and falls all over itself at times. The best example of this is the scene which depicts a reoccurring joke.
Pocahontas? My word.
This isn't to say that all the jokes in this movie fail, but none of them are good enough in my opinion to make you really laugh out loud. At most you'll get a snigger or a smirk on your face.
Ignorance and suspicion kept our peoples divided. Only brief contact was made.
I'll also admit that I feel like the movie suffers a bit from repeatedly reminding the audience that Pocahontas was in fact a Native American.
Here am I, the first American Indian woman to come to England. I am of the Algonquin tribe in the Americas. I am a full-blooded American Indian. To be clean was to be Indian.
I realize what the movie is trying to achieve here, especially with the mention of being clean, but it doesn't negate the fact that constantly reminding the audience of the obvious gets old rather fast. It also doesn't help that many of the depictions of Native Americans in this movie feel like stereotypes as well.
White man takes our land. Now he must pay.
White man will pay. White man will pay.
Hey! White man will pay!
On a whole, the narrative is superior to the last movie I discussed, even if most of the story is told in a 30-minute long flashback, with a narrator popping up every now and again. Animation-wise, this movie feels rather cheap, to be honest. This probably shouldn't be a surprise considering the company that made this movie sells it online for under $7 US. But the things that really give this movie away are the art style, the lack of background animations, and the reuse of certain images. In fact, there are only two objects in this movie that appear to blow in the wind, but their movement is repeated so seamlessly that it gives away the facade. In terms of art style, the first thing you'll pick up on is the character models. The chosen character designs appear similar to character models from a few decades ago, and yes, I realize that the retro look is in as of late, but these older design choices here don't feel like an artistic choice, but a money-saving decision. Sound-wise, the movie is alright, to be honest. The background music feels appropriate when it is there, and there is a subtle application of chirping birds and so on in the background as well. So subtle, in fact, that I missed it the first time since I was listening to the movie while pacing for the most part, and only picked up on it during a second viewing while I was searching for specific clips for this review. In terms of voice acting, the movie is sort of better and worse than the previous movie I covered. On one hand, the delivery does feel like it covers more emotions and feels more emotive in general. On the other hand, a good chunk of the movie is told by Pocahontas from the perspective of a narrator, which reduces the emotional delivery since she comes across as someone just providing the facts.
We were a healthy, strong people who lived at one with nature. The land was our friend, and we respected it. We took from it only what was needed.
I'll be blunt in saying this movie is okay. It suffers a bit from feeling a bit more like an educational piece than an entertainment piece, but it isn't horrible if you go into this movie with the blinders off about what it is.